Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Equity and Energy podcast. My name is Leroy Brown. I am your host. Today, I'm super excited to bring to you Daphine Barnes, Executive Director of Mobility Executive Director of Economic Mobility and STEM in the Region 1 Louisiana STEM Network. And right over there working with the GNO Inc. team. How are you doing, Daphne?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much, Leroy, for having me on.
It's only appropriate that we have you on, man. This is an exciting week for I think for OHUB and also for
Yes.
the startup Noir NOLA. We're gonna have a chance to talk a little bit more about that. I want to get the opportunity now to kind of get kicked off by you telling us a little bit about you. You know, where you from, how you grew up.
All that good stuff, huh? Well, I'm
Just
always very, very proud to say that I am a proud country girl. I am from Plaquemines Parish, all the way down in Narren, and some people may have heard of Buras, but Narren is right next to Buras, and I have family on both the east and west bank, and um, of course throughout the entire parish. Most people have heard of Belchase, right?
mhm.
And so I am a proud Plaquemines Parish resident, and I lived in Harvey for a number of years, and I attended school. And you know, if you're from the New Orleans region, when you say where you're from school, that tells you everything you need to know.
That's
Well,
definitely part
from
of it.
that is, I attended the amazing, illustrious, wonderful St. Mary's Academy in New Orleans East. Go Cougars, blue and gold.
I tell
So
you
I'm a
what,
daughter of New Orleans.
super proud to say everybody come off of St. Mary's. They definitely represent loud and proud. You come off of St. Mary's, man. They definitely represent. So I want to kind of back up a
Absolutely.
little bit. Let's talk about Plaquemines Parish. I think the way you explained it to kind of to me earlier, and it's kind of the way I use to explain where I'm from. I say I'm from Shreveport, but really a small town outside of Shreveport.
Yeah.
So I'm at the top of the boot, and like you said earlier, you're
We're
down.
at the toe. When you look at the boot of Louisiana, we're the
Mhm.
toes. And what that means for everyone, just gonna say this because I'm a very proud from Plaquemines, you know, you need your toes to stand up. We the toes of Louisiana. You need Plaquemines Parish, baby.
The toes keep the balance.
Keep the balance.
They keep the balance, man. So
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about your path. I mean, we know with the St. Mary's, and then did you go to school in the city? Around
I let me tell you, I'm very proud to have
there?
been educated at every level in the state of Louisiana.
Nice.
I took summer classes at Delgado.
Mm-hmm.
I started off at LSU, graduated from Nichols. I
Hmm.
received both of my masters from Xavier University, and I'm currently studying at Tulane for the executive MBA program. I was a high school uh, biology, chemistry, anatomy, and physiology, all that great stuff that everybody loves to do. That was what I taught. I was an administrator. I was a district science curriculum coordinator.
Hmm.
Then I moved on as I went through administration. I actually started working at Xavier University, one of my alma maters, in
Oh.
the with the Norman C. Francis Teacher Residency Program,
Mhm.
and which was amazing, where we took people who were looking at a new career in teaching who did not go to traditional education schools and take that pathway. We had a number of people from various different backgrounds, and we trained them and coached them so they can be teachers in our public schools here.
Mhm.
And now I'm working in for GNO Inc., which is our regional economic development organization.
Mhm.
And as you stated, I am the executive director of economic mobility. And one thing I like to say about that, in order for a region to truly attract talent, you have to have in, to attract, I'm sorry, to attract business, you have to have the talent. And we have the talent here. And economic development has been focused a lot on bringing businesses.
Mhm.
And the foresight of Michael Hecht was that we need to make sure that we are getting more and more of our talent involved in connecting these two entities, the
Mhm.
education and the businesses. And then we have to bring in the actual people. That trifecta makes a very big impact. And when we have people making decisions, you need to have an educator in the room. And and who has been a troop on the ground with these young people who you want to employ to
Yeah.
know the different nuances. You need to have a lot of people in the room, and sometimes we don't think about educators as knowing that. are being a part of economic decisions, and that's who you truly need. And I may toot my own horn and said he made a good choice when he selected a former educator. Well, I don't know if you can ever
You know,
forget it.
it's funny, man, because I forget, because we had this conversation before. You know, you
Uh-huh,
told me a little bit about your background. I forget that you were a teacher because you do move with the economic development concept. You know what I'm saying? You
uh-huh.
move with the mindset of economic developer, developing officer. Like even when we're talking about the the mobility part or the STEM part, like how are we getting our kids and workforce in the place for them to be most successful. But I guess you're 100% right, man. It would come from a lot of that background of being a teacher, um, and understanding learning in the best possible position for a kid, for those kids to be, or the
Young
best possible
people,
way for them to learn and
yeah,
transition. Go ahead.
yeah, and transition because you can make decisions from the top,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't mean it's going to get to where it needs to be or be communicated in a way that truly engages the audience you're trying to target.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, teachers know how to craft something so that it reaches the target audience. I don't know, maybe it's because we do this, right?
Well, you know, shout out to my all my teachers, man. I think it's always they always figured out how to convey information or how to make complicated things simple. I can tell you that for
Yeah.
sure. They're
And
really
then
good at making complicated things simple.
and if you want to build a program, something that's targeting this particular subset of people in our community, you can't just do it one-sided.
Mm.
You can't just look at the business aspect. You have to look at the people aspect.
So tell me, and I've been seeing this title, economic mobility, around in different spaces. I mean, obviously with yours, but it's popping up in other
It's popping
areas.
up.
It is popping up. Tell it. Can you give us kind of a definition of economic mobility?
So, as you know, economics is dealing with money, right? How money flows in and out
Hmm.
of whatever ecosystem, and mobility is that movement. And
Okay.
so, when I'm thinking, I'll tell you my term and what I feel it is and how I operate.
Hmm.
This is this is the ability of like an individual family groups to improve their economic status, and
Okay.
it's measured by income or wealth over time. And I think about it in two different contexts. We have intergenerational economic mobility, which is economic status changes across generations. Like, I'm going to do better than what my parents did. I don't know
Hmm.
about you, but my parents always said, I want you to do better and more than what I've done.
Hmm.
That's intergenerational, right?
Hmm.
So how we're being placed in position now so that our the next generation can go above and beyond. And then there's intra-generational. This is how we move in our current lifetime. Like, what are we doing now? So we're moving from a lower income bracket to a higher income bracket. And so economic mobility is multifaceted. It's how we do it generationally and how are we moving that money right now. And that's going to focus on, education, access to job. And one of the most important things is that social capital,
Hmm.
which research shows that's probably the most important aspect of being able to move up and have economic mobility, is that social capital. And of course, it's affected by things like government policies. It's affected by, of course, systemic inequities. And we know that the higher your economic mobility is, that's a marker of what a more healthy, more equitable society.
Hmm.
And more individuals have the ability to succeed regardless of where you started from. And that's what we want to do here.
So just the economic mobility, meaning the ability to move with inside that space right now where we presently are, intra,
Hmm.
but being
Hmm.
able to create opportunities for um, generationally, which is going to be inter.
Yes, generational wealth, baby. That's right.
All right, big big thing for our city, because what we're also asking them, and I'm going to kind of get into the educational part a little bit too. We're also asking them to kind of change the way, maybe kind of change the things that we focused on in the past. Um,
Hmm.
and I'm sitting here looking at the Region One for STEM piece. I know you and I have had opportunity to work together on that.
Hmm.
Can you
Yes.
share, can you share the mission and the vision behind the New Orleans that Region One STEM program?
So I'll start with a little bit more background, right?
Hmm.
So we know that STEM careers are high wage, high growth careers, right?
Hmm.
That's the big movement what are we doing? And STEM translates across a number of different fields and a
Mhm.
number of different opportunity areas. So our Board of Regents that controls all of our education and, our legislator through Act 392, they created 9 regional STEM centers that's been strategically placed around our entire state and in different, they kind of correspond with our regional market labor areas.
Mhm.
So they put out an RFA, GNO Inc. applied, and we were awarded the Region 1 STEM Center. I was hired to lead that as a director of STEM based on my background.
Okay.
And so we have 8 other STEM centers. A lot of them are at universities. We are the only one in the state of Louisiana that's at an economic development organization. We have one at LSU. We have met university in Lafayette, ULL, Southeastern, Northwestern, all throughout the state. But
Mhm.
we are economic development, and so our goal is to create those equitable opportunities for our students across our Southeast region, so they can access high quality STEM education, experiential learning, and career pathways, especially focused right here in our region.
Mhm.
And we want to bridge that gap that I was talking about: industry, education, and community. That's the 3 things. That's our trifecta that has to come together. And we want to create that sustainable talent pipeline, especially for those who are underrepresented. And we want to support those regional needs and, of course, drive economic mobility for our young people.
And it's cool because I think the STEM programs actually inspire and increase the imagination of our students. I mean, I think at this point
Hmm.
we actually
Yes.
we want to see them come up with the ideas, and we want to see them to come up with
Yes.
the things that are going to be life changing.
Absolutely.
So tell me a little bit about the NOLA Coalition for Community Impact.
So, with the NOLA Coalition, we launched this as also part of our economic mobility strategy.
Mhm.
The NOLA Coalition is a group of businesses and nonprofits and even religious leaders from throughout our city, civic organizations, and we number about over 500 people that have come together when we are trying to address some of those inequities in our system. And we're
Mhm.
focused on two. We have 2 main platforms with that: public safety, and also an investment in our youth. And those are the things that we have to make sure that that we are focusing on in order to truly uplift our city. We have to invest in our young people. And through the NOLA Coalition, up to date, we have raised over $8.3 million that goes towards our youth organizations that we have in the form of grants and support for those different organizations that have a commitment to serving our youth. Because one of the things we know is we cannot do it all alone. I can't be everything. You can't be everything. This has to be a concerted effort, a community effort to really focus on those that need uh, some direction, especially with our youth. We need to be able to direct them into what's available to them. We need to be able to help them with resources that are here and available that will help keep them on that correct trajectory where they can be those positive citizens that are here. And we also need to make sure we support public safety. We have, and I will come out and say it, I think we have one of the best law enforcements in the nation. NOPD, um, the NOPD works very hard, at maintaining good community relationships. I'm not saying they get everything perfectly, but they work very hard, and we need to make sure that we're addressing all sides of the issues when it comes to our city. And the NOLA Coalition uses those 2 platforms to do that.
So, and I noticed it feels like my internet is going in and out. I don't know how clear
A
it
little
is. Or
bit,
y'all in?
yeah,
Can y'all at least, I could say this like watching a football game and you like 3 seconds behind, right? That's what,
yeah. But you're kind of sitting like this right now,
no, I'm not.
but we hear you. Oh well, that's
So,
what we see. We can hear
yes, you can
you.
hear me, but you can hear me though. Perfect,
Yes,
perfect, perfect. Okay.
yes.
Okay. So as long as it's not breaking up, that's the biggest thing. Okay, so I like it. So we have a pipeline that we have coming together here now. There is the STEM part where we're trying to get these guys um, inspired to create solutions, use that science,
Yes.
technology, engineering, that math mind to kind of create the solutions. And then we also, when we come out to the coalition level, we're starting to look at more things that actually help kind of protect our kids. When you said the
Yes.
relationship with public safety and being able to, when you say we have an amazing police department, man, I just want to give a shout out. And this happened out in the East. I had a chance to work with a couple of organizations out there that actually threw an appreciation cookout
Hmm.
for the NOPD out there in District E.
Yeah.
Because I think that it starts with us having like an appreciation for the things that we do have.
Yes.
There's going to always be some work, and there's going to always be a
Yes.
need. There's always going
Always.
to be work to be done. However, having appreciation for those folks that are putting it all on the line for us, and
Yeah.
and then starting there and go, okay, well, what else do we have?
Yes.
Right? That's how we do our value asset. So I mean,
Yes.
assess our values. So now, so give me a little bit of with the STEM education. How does that play into advancing economic mobility? I know we talked a little bit about it, but there's some real opportunities now when we're talking about changing either certifications or getting a 2-year education,
Yes.
or there's some real opportunities that are out there for folks who will go and seek out that shift or the training to help make that shift when it comes to the energy sector. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely.
Mhm.
So I'll tell you. I'll first start off with with one of our main flagship initiatives, and
Mhm.
that's our internship program.
Yes.
As we know, we're an economic development organization, and almost every major company that comes here is part of our board, or they are connected to GNO Inc. in some way. And
Mhm.
a lot of the talk was about finding talent. Okay, so we have a problem. You're saying you can't find talent, then I'm going to find a solution, right? So
Mhm.
that's how GNO Inc. looks at it. We need to be solution oriented,
Mhm.
and like our motto says, it's relationships, relevance, results. We have the relationships with our organizations. Now let's look at like what do they need? That's how we determine our relevance. They
Mhm.
need a talent pipeline, and then we're starting to see the results. So we have a paid internship program that's 8 weeks long, and I don't know if you know this, but we've added 2 new tracks this year. This is our fourth
Okay.
year. Yes, we've added 2 new tracks where we have a STEM track, we have a startup track, we
Mhm.
have an engineering track, we have a future energy track, which is one of our new ones, and we have a private equity and venture capital track
Nice.
for so to make five. So we are looking at how we are engaging our young people and letting them know, number one, the opportunity is here
Mhm.
in this region. You can be paid well. There's high wage, high growth opportunities. There are companies here who are looking to hire you, and we are paying you to come for these internships where you can gain this truly marketable experience,
Mhm.
and you can have this lead to your future job right here in the region. And then our companies know that they are getting the prime, the cream of the crop. We have the talent here. There's no need for you to go outside of here and look for talent. We have it here, and we will bring it to you, and we make it as much as low impact and low lift on the company as much as possible. And I'll tell you this, every one of our interns, they stand out. We have
Mhm.
had interns in our startup that before they've even graduated have launched their own startups and have raised money. We have one intern who was on the Today Show up in New York.
Mhm.
Right. We have another one from Dillard University. She launched her startup before she graduated and won the Nexus Challenge right here in Louisiana.
Mhm.
This is before this young woman graduated. We
Mhm.
have so much opportunity. Our young people, who this will be the fourth year of our program. We have some that have graduated. They're graduating with jobs in our region. That's how we're making the change. One of the things that was one of those little statistics to me that sticks out,
Mhm.
where companies who are here locally and
Mhm.
they're hiring outside of the state or outside of the region,
Yep.
those people typically stay for no more than 3 years.
Yep. Yep.
But you talk to somebody who lives here, they're going to be with you here. You're losing institutional knowledge
Yeah.
when those people leave. You need to recruit locally, and they're starting to see that we need to invest, and companies have to put some skin in the game, and
Mhm.
they're starting to see that also. If you want the talent pool, you have to invest in the talent pool, and we're also driving that narrative.
Yeah. In this, I think top to bottom across the state, everybody wants to create the community where the next generation can live and thrive, where they can
Absolutely.
follow their dreams based on what their majors are, um, or even chase new dreams based on what the challenges are, the problems they choose to solve. But
Hmm.
either way, it's more of being able to have the option or the choice of, can I stay here and grow in my state, or do I want to leave and go to
Yes.
another state? Um,
Yes.
and one of the things,
Absolutely right, Leroy. You're
well, one of the,
absolutely right.
what we talked about earlier is, think about it. We have a lot of folks who have left,
Yes.
and of those folks that have left, I'm sure that there are a lot of folks who want to come back home. I mean, I think
Absolutely.
um, a lot of folks, and I ran into a lot of folks who are making decisions in this moment to just come back. I mean, everybody,
Yeah.
where we are is no secret, right? Like,
Yes.
we know we have our challenges, but I can also tell you that where we are, there's a ton of opportunities here, um,
Yes.
for those STEM students, for the workforce transition, for the energy.
Yes.
We are the fourth largest producer of energy in the country.
Yes. Right here. Right here.
61% of the natural gas, or was it propane? 61% for the US came from the state of Louisiana. And this was just last year, right?
There's some money here.
It's a
There's
huge,
money to be made here.
it's a
There's
huge
opportunity.
energy market. It's a huge energy market. And it's a little bit of a deviation, but I want you and I probably can definitely have this conversation. We're gonna have sectors of, I mean, obviously we have oil and gas sector. That industry has been huge for us. And so I just gave you the numbers. Fourth in the
Yeah.
fourth energy producer in the country. So when you guys talk about the all of the above part, now we're adding in the solar, the
Yes.
wind,
Wind.
hydrogen, and decarbonation, right?
Yep.
So not only do we have those traditional fuels, which there's still going to be opportunities there for engineers, for
Yep.
computer scientists, but it's the other things that are coming on board as well, with the solar and with the wind and all those other things as well. So, and as the demand for workforce.
Demand. And it's an easy transition from one to the other.
Yeah.
And we want our future workforce to know that there is the demand for you here.
Hmm.
And I'm glad you brought up how we're looking at future energies and all these future projects and how it's happening right here, because once again people don't know that with
Hmm.
this energy production, this all of the above energy that we're focused on,
Hmm.
we're doing a both and approach. That's one of the reasons why we have startup Noir Nola, which is part of our portfolio, where
Hmm.
we're looking at how we can focus specifically on building an ecosystem for Black BIPOC founders right
Hmm.
here in the region.
Hmm.
We partner with OHA, we partner with with you all. We are trying to expand that ecosystem, expand the pie. That's what we want to do here. And Startup Noir Nola will be almost fixated on how we can uplift those BIPOC founders and have resources and support for them as they navigate this space. And this is a prime time to be a part of these types of initiatives and get on the ground floor of that energy investment and those in and the opportunity to think, what can I do in that energy field, which will be
Hmm.
huge.
Right.
Start getting those ideas out and seeing what can happen.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So when you think about this too, our founders are also the folks that's going to bring in more technology. They're going to bring
Yes.
in people that they may have met that they want to partner with. Being
Yes.
able, how we treat those BIPOC founders and startups signals to our skilled labor and to our
Yes.
other engineers that are outside, right? Like, letting folks know that not only we're supportive and nurturing them, we're looking for ways for these businesses to succeed. Be it partnering them with a university where they can actually work with
Hmm.
students that are there. Another part of what you guys do is getting interns from you.
Yeah. And
right?
exactly. And it's important that we pour into our students. That's why we have, as you know, Leroy, those specific and those energy specific concentrations at our local universities where
Hmm.
our students can get the information on that on the business side and on the STEM side. We're
Hmm.
trying to address both areas of that where you can get those concentrations, where you can come out, and then from that, we want you to go into that. And then while you have those, while you're getting the theoretical learning, come to the internship and do the experiential learning and
Hmm.
have that as you're incredibly marketable at that point, and you're
Hmm.
making connections with these companies, and once again they can feed into that talent pipeline and invest.
How many of your STEM Rock students, NOLA, how many GNO Rock students were able to get internships last year?
So we have we had 24 students in our internship.
Hmm.
And now as we grow, we're starting to see full circle. So we also have a mentorship program for
Hmm.
high school age young women. Now our high school age young women are graduating and they're applying to the internship program.
Nice.
Our internship students who have graduated are getting jobs in the region. We're bringing this full circle.
Hmm.
So we're seeing it because, it takes a little bit of growth. Years have to pass, they have to
Hmm.
graduate, but we're now seeing that circle, that loop is closing. We have it going on where you graduate from high school, and now look, I have internships lined up from freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year. So I'm going to have 4 years of experience.
Hmm.
So when I go to the job, I can uh I can show them. And my camera just went out. I don't know what happened with that. But they can go into the job at that point with that marketable experience.
Hmm. And so now we're kind of getting to and I love it because you're kind of given the structure of the pipeline and how you work to kind of get students involved from that the experiential treatment, maybe being a young student in the process to being able to be a part of it. You may be a college student that signed up for GNO Rocks, which is going to help them get internships, and then also get into that space of some of those kids who go through the GNO Rocks process may become future founders as well.
Absolutely. We
Mhm.
want we want and once again all of the above approach. We
Mhm.
want them to be able, that's why we have the 5 tracks. You
Mhm.
can explore something different throughout because I don't know about you, but this wasn't even a job that I was
Mhm.
thinking of when I was in college. And
No.
for the young people coming up now, they're going to be jobs we can't even think of yet.
Mhm.
Different job titles, different jobs. It's not the same anymore. They're going to be able to create their own jobs. So
Mhm.
they need to be able to have the experiences that allow them to find out what their niche is or where their passions lie or where they can truly make a difference because not every founder thought that they were going to be a founder.
Right.
I was talking to, I don't know, I'm pretty sure Dr. Marrero. He's an
Yeah.
orthopedic surgeon.
Mhm.
He is also a startup founder where he has patented a surgical knee or like some sort of orthopedic device
Mhm.
that he's getting ready to scale. He went
Mhm.
to school to be a surgeon, but
Yeah.
his expertise let him in more ways he's able to branch out, and that's the type of entrepreneurial mindset that we
Mhm.
want to instill in our young people.
Yes, man. So Dr. Marrero spoke at Xavier for us in I think October,
Hmm.
which is a really cool job. I mean, very similar to how we problem solve now. We went into a room, with folks where there was somebody had broke their ankle
Uh-huh.
and just started going through the process. Like, how do we fix this without putting pressure here and without doing this? And then they came up with the piece.
And look what happened.
Yeah, yeah. Showtel. That's it. Showtel Medical. That's the name of his company.
And so that's what we are looking at with how can we get more people to be able to do this.
Hmm. So now at this point, we and being a teacher is great because you have the educational component kind of laced completely completely through that process, um, from the young kids all the way up to the college kids in the GNO Rocks program. So let's kind of ease into the mission of Startup Noir NOLA and how it is the piece that when they go through that process and get to the space of, hey, now we want to start our own business. What is there out there to support us? What do you think some of the goals of Start Noir NOLA is trying to accomplish with this kickoff?
So one of the things what we're mainly trying to do
Mhm,
is empower our Black entrepreneurs and innovators in our region and let
mhm,
them know that this is a place in New Orleans, in Louisiana. This is a place where you can come and you can scale your business. We
mhm,
want you to know that there are resources, there's mentorship, and there is capital.
mhm.
And we want to foster that inclusive ecosystem where our founders can launch, they can sustain, and they can scale. And once again, that drives our economic equity and innovation within this community. And that's what we want. That's our goal. We want that to drive economic equity. We want that innovation, and we want our founders to be able to do that right here in the New Orleans area.
I think what's been really cool. I know you have spent some time. Um, I know you spent some time with founders. I think we met up at the Bio Innovation Center
Uh
earlier,
huh.
right after Essence, I think. Um, Being able to organize the information and make it available for um, founders in a way that they kind of have an access point, right?
Hmm.
When they come in, they have the opportunity to come and sit. Or we have been fortunate enough to actually have our founders spend time with either somebody like Cam. I think they spend a little time with,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? With Cam, I've actually, you know me, I like to work with all you guys. So it's gonna be Cam, Salim, Josh, anybody who would come to a meeting after. I want them at the table 100%. Um, but it gives them the opportunity to kind of look at that founder's project and kind of see where they can interject and where they can help,
Hmm.
um, with that, with supporting that founder. Can you kind of talk a little bit about how Startup Noir NOLA is going to be able to, um, when we talk about connect to capital,
Yeah.
tell them a little bit about how we organize that resource.
So that's a huge piece here. And one of the things with that, like connecting to capital, is knowing where the capital is and
Mhm,
what you need in order to be able to be prepared to go after funding.
mhm,
And so you already know there's SSBCI funds. That's all great. That's a wonderful acronym. But what does that mean for me? How do I do it? What do I need to do? What's required of me? And
mhm,
so that's what we want to bring through our learning sessions that we're doing through that we're going to be launching next year. With our different types of speakers we're bringing in, and also workshops where you're able to. We have a founder circle. You'll be able to access mentorship from people who have already kind of been there, done that. And
mhm.
that's what we want to bring in, that interconnectivity. Because what did you say earlier, Leroy? We have all ships have to rise on the tide, right?
Yeah.
By the we need to build this true community
Mhm,
amongst our founders so they can work together with each other, they can access those resources, they can lean on each other, and we're trying to bring all of that together. And of course, we have the startup fund, we have different types of accelerators and incubators here. We
mhm.
want to bring everyone into the system, but we do want to make sure that it is targeted for the success of uh, of our Black founders.
Definitely. I think, having been out there for, I think, about a year and a half. Um, that's one of the biggest. I think it's what I sometimes take for granted, the amount of access that I have. Like if you in 2023, I come in, given the opportunity to do the ecosystem development lead, and so I start going around and just start, going to as many people and connecting the dots. But I take for granted, like when that door is not open for you, it's hard for you to find the resources. It's hard for you to find um, even people to help you move your project, help you move your project forward. So I know that
Yeah.
there's going to be a website also associated
Yes. Our
with this.
website is up.
Hmm.
Uh, and you know what? I'll put it in. I think if I put it in the chat, everyone will be able to see it.
The cool part about this is that we're going to, after this, we will also release the video, and we will take any resources that you have that you want to share. We'll make
Hmm.
those resources a part of the newsletter write up.
Wonderful. So we do have our website up. That's Startup Noir. That's the French for Black, Noir,
Mhm.
NOLA.com. Startup Noir NOLA. And you can see some of what's already going on in the ecosystem, the
Mhm.
connectivity that's there. You can see how the different types of tax incentives that are available to startup founders, depending on what you are, what you're looking for, and
Mhm.
also just some the information about the events, what we're doing, who we're bringing in, how we're partnering. Just like for our wonderful event tomorrow, Thursday evening, you have access to come to our founders, launch reception.
Mhm.
That is stuff that we're looking at to keep everyone kind of connected, and for there also to be a central repository. There's a
Mhm.
lot of resources out, and different people have this, different this person has this. We're trying to bring all of that together under one umbrella, so you know that there's a place for you to go and then still have that connectivity to other people within our ecosystem.
And I think that's a really good point too. Like whenever you guys have an opportunity to come out, and then we're gonna definitely plug our event that's gonna happen on Thursday. That's fine, yeah. We're definitely we're gonna talk a little bit about it on Thursday. Um, but also when you come out to the events, this is also a space where you're nurtured,
Yeah.
supported. That part right there, like this is why when I always say community is our superpower. I mean, I think that the love in the New Orleans community is very unique to this community, and
Yes.
I think that when we operate like that, but also in the spirit of building an ecosystem and creating a place for people to be creative, productive,
Hmm.
innovative, and still get their ideas out. I think that's a very special part of it as well. And if you get a chance to touch on that a little bit, then we're going to take this question. I think we have a question that's waiting for us as well. But just talk a little bit about, we were talking about growing up and down in Plaquemines and how proud you are going to, right? How proud you are going
Yeah.
to St. Mary's. How does that culture of who we are as a community, how does that always spill over into how we support and nurture businesses um, that are trying to get started?
Well, in Louisiana, and I think this is something throughout.
Mhm.
Um, I remember being young, we could go to anybody's house, and for the holidays, you can get a bowl of gumbo. Wherever you are, they're going to serve you food, right? And,
Yeah.
and and I think it's still that way now. We want to be able. Everyone believe in sustenance,
Mhm.
and that's what we want to do. We want to be able to be that point of sustenance for this entire Black startup ecosystem. And we believe that through that connectivity, we can do that. There's a need there for all of us to come together,
Mhm.
because some things can be a little bit disjointed. While we have wonderful people, we community and culture is top in this area,
Mhm.
right? It really is, and we want to bring that spirit of connectivity, that special the special sauce that makes New Orleans New Orleans. We want to bring that into the startup community, and we think we can do that with that focus on our BIPOC community members uh, to help sustain that growth.
So the question we have in the chat is from Saeed Muhammad, and Saeed, hopefully I'm pronouncing this correctly, man. He said, please share your thoughts on how AI would play a role in all of these in these aspects of what we're doing, I'm assuming, and then also how A can play a role in expanding the opportunities that are there currently in our marketplace.
So I think, as with almost any piece of technology,
Mhm.
AI can be a tool. that we can use to enhance what we're doing.
hmm
But you still need the person behind it. I firmly
hmm
believe that. I think one of the ways that it can be helpful, especially for startups, is that it can add some capacity. It can also be a support uh, for the types of products that you're trying to scale that may be more on the tech side. Um, I think of things of like the Internet of Things, right? For
hmm
let's say our transportation and logistics, they use a lot of internal measurements. Let's say if I want to know how many ships, how long they're staying here, how long it takes for them to turn around in the river, how much cargo are they carrying, how much fuel are they using? Can I create something
hmm
that is purchased, a piece of software that's purchased by various transportation companies that help to, I'll use clean energy for an example, that
hmm
helps them be more fuel efficient, or how are they able to better utilize clean fuel, clean diesel, or clean alternative fuels, and the
hmm
efficiency that that provides. Can we measure their speed? Can we measure all the different things that go along with transportation? Can I use AI to help me write that algorithm? Can that be a part of my design for the interface? I look at how the Internet of Things is used on multi different levels. That can be used in healthcare settings.
hmm
That can be used in, of course, as we are working with the solar panels. How are we measuring these things? How can we use AI to be a tool to help enhance what our ideas are and to help to create that scalable product?
I think the other part too, with our founders, I find that they're using AI to save time. If it
Yeah.
can do something that's going to give them free them up to do more of something else, I think that they use it for that. We have a couple. The AI does the analysis. One of our founders has a water management system. They use AI. They use sensors and different and AI to kind of monitor that system. I mean, I think a lot of times when people ask that question, it's like, is it a concern of it, AI taking over? It's kind of like you said, like AI, and there's always, right now there's going to be a human behind it. I'm sure that it's going to evolve just like everything else evolves. But I don't think this is a community of folks who are afraid of it. There's a lot
Hmm.
of organizations who actually are doing more to educate. Shout out to New Society. I feel like
Hmm.
New Society at least once or twice a month is going to have something on AI and machine learning to kind of
Hmm.
to continue to educate our ecosystem and educate um, our founders and just folks who are curious about it. I'm starting to see more AI, at our community college level as well. So I
Yeah.
mean, I think the question is like, how does AI fit in? I think it's going to help simplify some things, but I think there's also the opportunity to find a problem that you want to solve. Like what problem do I want to
Yes.
solve? And then ask yourself, like, how can AI potentially help me to solve this problem? And right now, I think the use of all technology um, at this particular point in time, be it for, like you said, coastal resilience, be it
Hmm.
for managing. We had a founder who had actually a program to where you could let the app know that there were extra food at an event or
Hmm.
say convention center, and then that immediately sent the signal to them. They would come and box up the food, and then they get that food to a homeless shelter
Wow.
in an effort to, yep, good or G, I think it's GOODR.
Hmm.
Um, and that was really, a really cool concept of just people just using it to kind of expand the conversation. We also have a founder who has a platform to where they use, I think it's Ergo. They use the code tool in her project. They use it to better educate people on how to recycle,
Hmm.
right? And then they incentivize the folks by following through the process. They incentivize the folks with gift cards and different things
Yeah.
inside of the app to kind of reinforce their behavior. So there's many ways as you can think of, and I would go back, Saeed, and say, man, like if there's a challenge that you want to solve, first, like ask yourself that question. Then also ask yourself the question of how can AI help me solve it? and I'm more than sure that we'd be interested in listening to your project and learning more about your project. We have some more time here. Like, I'm really interested to know, like, what are you expecting um, from this launch week? Give us some details about what's going on this week, some things that we can expect, and get excited about, outside of what we're doing. Obviously, we're doing, and I'm going to have an opportunity to talk about that. Obviously, what we're doing with the pitch competition or with the Climate Tech Challenge. But tell me some other things that you're excited about in regards to the week as a whole.
Well, we were going to do a hackathon this weekend, but
Mhm,
we've decided there's so many competing things going on and
mhm,
so much travel for our students as they're getting out of school and going. And we really wanted them to be able to capitalize on this opportunity. We decided to kind of move that to January. So we're
mhm,
going to do we're looking at like Global Entrepreneurship Week, where we're going to do a huge hackathon, and we're thinking that. Not just for our college students. Of course, we want our college students, our business students,
mhm,
and we also want to get some of our budding entrepreneurs to kind
mhm,
of come out, do the pitch competition. And we're thinking that we are going to have some wonderful prizes associated with them, specifically around how to truly grow your business
mhm,
and what and time with people who uh, who have launched startups, who have gone through the pitfalls, and sometimes advice
mhm,
is really much more much more beneficial to you. Like you can win 25,000, but if you don't know the best place to put it,
mhm,
how is it really going to help you? And
mhm,
so we're trying to look at this from a different perspective. I believe it. Someone asked, "Would you rather what was it a certain amount of money or the chance to have a conversation with Jay Z?"
mhm,
And they picked, I want to have that conversation with Jay Z
mhm,
because I want to know what to do and the moves to make because of the business opportunities.
mhm,
And so we kind of looked at it from that kind of perspective, like how can we give people access to people who fund
mhm,
entrepreneurs,
mhm,
access to somebody who will truly look at what you've pitched and give you that feedback that will allow you to take it to the next level,
mhm,
and access for you to be able to have a form of mentorship and coaching
mhm,
to help bring you up so that way you're ready that you're ready to move on to that next step in these early founding stages. So we're looking at doing that in January, because really this weekend a lot of people are traveling a whole lot, and there's a lot of stuff in flux, and we didn't think everyone would be able to get the the full impact of the weekend.
Well, what we're going to do is on Thursday, we're going to
Yes.
give them some early turkey.
Early turkey.
We're going to give them some early turkey, man. We're going to host our third cohort. We're going to have a $100,000 climate tech bootcamp challenge. Um, these guys have been, working their tail off inside of our incubator, and we narrowed it down to the top 5. So we're going to
Ooh,
kick that off with a nice little reception, from 6 to 7. Have everybody come in, kind of grab some drinks, kind of hang out. And then at 7 o'clock, we're going to start off with a fireside chat with our CEO, Rodney Sampson.
mhm.
Uh, and then he's going to have a local founder, actually, Savitri Williams, and also
Wilson.
her business, Savitri Wilson.
Wilson, yes.
Yes, man, and her business partner as well. And I'm gonna get beat up for not having that
Oh yeah,
information.
you will. You definitely will.
Um, but we're very excited to have the opportunity to have a local founder, and you blew my mind. Like, Savitri's has raised over 50 million in uh, in funding for her project. It makes her
It,
probably one of the largest. Sorry, one of the yeah. She's raised the most money as a solo Black woman founder.
she raised the first $1 million as a black woman, the first black woman to raise $1 million right here in
Yeah,
the greater New Orleans region for Resilia.
yeah,
She's phenomenal.
yeah. And then her being able to kind of give her, and it's funny. I had the opportunity to meet her at Inc. And what was
Hmm.
super important at the Inc. thing was, like, what would be your number one, what's your number one advice? And she's just like, never give up. I mean, you can't give up. You got to knock on the next door, and you got to knock on the next door, and you got to knock on the next door until you get, what you want. You got to be more determined to get what you want than interested in the prospect of walking away from it at all. So I think that's just getting a chance to hear her again is going to be exciting. And then we also have an opportunity, kind of like you talked about at first too, the opportunity to kind of have a little capital connect, get some get founders in kind of an intimate setting in the same room with investors to kind of give them, and also with our ecosystem as well, ecosystem members as well, to give them the best opportunity to. They've competed for what we have to offer, but to give them the opportunity to talk to other investors and see if there's something that they can see if there's something that they would be interested that they would be interested in investing in. The cool part about our ecosystem too is it's kind of like you said, like there's a group that of folks that you have that are interested in doing are looking at founders and their projects and investing right here in the city. And there won't be there won't be a need for anybody to have to go anywhere have to live anywhere. The goal would be to have the resources here and you live here, but your investments can obviously come from anywhere. So that's going to be November the 21st. And that's going to be at a 6 p.m. start time at the shop at CAC. At 7 o'clock, we'll get into the fireside chat, and right after that, we will be doing our pitches and then awarding a $100,000 prize, or at least up to $100,000 in prizes. There may be two founders. We never know how this thing is going to work out. Some of these ideas are really over the top, and we like to try to make sure that we can support as many as we possibly can. But not only will that top 5 be in the competition, but it's kind of like the thing that we talked about with Startup Noir, NOLA. They're also now in our ecosystem.
Yes. And I want to add this because I think I focus a little bit more on the weekend as opposed to this. But right before, we're kind of like the opening act for you all as we're doing a Startup Noir NOLA launch reception. So we'll be on the rooftop of the Contemporary Art Center. The shop's there. So you can come, hear a little DJ, get a little drink, eat a little food, and be a part of the reception as we welcome everyone to participate and learn about the Startup Noir NOLA ecosystem. Is going to be our launch party that will flow directly into the fireside chat and everything with OHub, because we want everyone to know we are all together in this. We are sustaining each other and we are connected. And so that's how we wanted to make sure this was happening, and working with OHub, with Leroy, with Rodney, the entire team. We wanted to show this cohesive event where, from 5 to about 10 o'clock, you are going to be in a state of awe and excellence, right? With some good foods in between.
There we go. There you go. And then and then understand that you're part of something that's bigger. I'm a firm believer that I'm a professional baton passer at this time. It's how I prep to give this thing off to the next person that's going to take it and do what they do with it. I tell people, like, we have to think 100 years from now when we're looking at this history, they're gonna want to know like how cool was it that the Daphine Barnes and GNO Inc., that OHub was there, that there was this moment where where opportunity just flooded was able to flood the community, and it was game changing. And it's the founders, but it's also with this workforce thing we're talking about as well. There are other opportunities that definitely need to be evaluated, and hopefully people will get a chance to look at it. Maybe we'll do career changes, or at least share it with someone else, or share with some students that that may need this as well. Man, we encourage everyone to download our app in order for you to RSVP. The address is the shop .ohub.at, and that's the shop.ohub.at. When you pull it up, you have an opportunity to RSVP for the event. We have other podcasts in there that you get a chance to get a chance to see and go through some of the things that we've done over the course of the year. Um, I assure you, this is it. You know, and I say this. You know, sometimes when you're out here doing this work, you don't think that you know that moment, but this is it. This is
Yeah.
that moment where there's a as our CEO would say, there is an existential crisis,
Yeah.
but there's also an amazing opportunity as well. There's an opportunity to not only bring this community together, but also to share. And
Mhm.
while we are pulling together Black and Brown founders to make sure they know that this space is um, safe and nurturing for their products and their projects. Uh, just like any New Orleans community, we wind up sharing it with everybody anyway. We
Yeah.
want, right? We want
Yep.
everybody
We
to come
share.
to we share. We want
Absolutely.
everybody to come to the Crawfish Bowl. And not only do I want you to come because there may be some things that you have to share, and that's going to make what we're doing a lot better, a lot stronger as well. I think that I wasn't here for Katrina, but everything when I listen to people talk about it, I think the one thing that they spotlight is the fact that there was a community taking care of the
Yes.
community while we were waiting for the resources and the support
Hmm.
that we needed, right? And so,
Yes.
in this moment, there's a community that is taking care of um, a community that's growing this community that wants influence and input from this whole space that we consider home, man. Because this is really about us, and it's really about it's really about the future the things that we do now are going to craft out the future for the folks that are coming behind us. So by organizing this information and being able to get resources to Black and Brown founders, also being able to get our STEM projects off the ground, the community involved is from the coalition perspective, and then having our folks in a position to take advantage of economic mobility and workforce development, that gives us a chance to kind of flip the script from an economic perspective. People people have a choice, and there's nothing ever wrong with working at Popeyes. I came up on fast food. I worked at Burger King, but I also want folks to know that if you choose to do something different, there's an opportunity for you
Yes.
to do something different. You know what I mean? And if you're
Ab-
here and you have a business, then we want you to know that there are resources and folks here that are waiting. There are folks here waiting to bring you in, and there are also resources here that have the potential to serve you, man. So we look forward to seeing you guys again November 19th. That's going to be at the shop at CAC. That's going to be at 900 Camp, right there across from Andrew Higgins, and right there by the World War II Museum. If our locals, they always know landmarks. And it's going to start at 6 o'clock, man. We look forward to seeing you guys. Please, again, join us in the app, thshop.ohub.at. That's the shop.ohub.at, man. We look forward to you. Thank you so much, Daphne Barnes, for coming on and kind of
Thank you for
giving us
having me.
insight of some all amazing things that you guys are doing.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And we look forward to seeing you all Thursday. We'll be there for the reception right ahead of these events. So it's going to be a whole family style event. And we hope to see everyone there enjoying the community that we're building. Thank you so much for having me, Leroy.
Awesome, babe. Teamwork makes a dream work. We will
Yes.
see y'all next time on Equity and Energy podcast. Take care. See you Thursday.
Bye.